It's time for a special edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. This time, members of my team get to ask me any question they want. Hey everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. Every week, as you know, I interview business leaders, entrepreneurs, authors from around the country, and I do it over Skype. So this week, I thought I'd try and do something a little different, and I'm gonna let people on my team, the Hasseman marketing team, ask me any question they want to know. Now, some of them have given me these in advance, some of them not so much. So we'll see how I do. We're gonna start out here with my guy, Jeff Wickerhand. Jeff, we'll let Dustin kind of change the shot. So, Jeff, what question do you have for me?
So, talked about entrepreneurs and interviewing them, and I listen to a podcast very often by Tim Ferriss.
Awesome.
And he asks the people he is interviewing a series of questions toward the end of his podcast.
Okay.
And the question I have for you is, if you had a billboard, what would be on the billboard and where would it be? Anywhere in the world, what would be on it and where would it be?
Super good question. What would I do? What would I don't know where I'd put it because it would depend, but I think that the biggest message that I think most of us need to hear is that whatever's going on with your life, I say this, Dave Ramsey says that whatever's wrong with your business, the problem is you. I think that so many of us have the opportunity to positively or negatively affect their life based on their choices, but really based on the thoughts that they have. I'd love to create a message that really let people know that they are more in charge of their own destiny than I think most people allow them to believe, allow themselves to believe. So I guess that would be the message I would want to get out, is that, if you want a different life, certainly make different choices and start today by taking action toward moving toward those. You have the ability to do it. So I guess that's the message. I'm not sure what it would look like or where I would put it. Sure. Probably in front of my daughter's windows, because I want them to know that. But that's probably the message I think I would want to create. Does that make sense?
Awesome.
All right.
Good stuff.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. Gonna welcome in Moonbeam. Amy Heist. All right, what's your question for me?
My question is, everybody knows that you love to read.
Okay.
What is your favorite business book and why?
Okay.
And no, you cannot pick your own books.
Because everybody knows I am a narcissist. So my favorite, the book that I recommend to every single entrepreneur the first time they tell me they want to read a book is E-Myth by Michael Gerber. I think that is, and it was one of those that I've read. It's a book I've read probably 10 times, and every time I read it, I find myself in a different place in my business career, if that makes sense. What he does a really nice job in E-Myth is telling you a bunch of things that are kind of complex, but he tells it in a story. And I think that's one of those books that kind of tells, the concept behind the book real quickly is that the myth is that people say entrepreneurs start businesses, when in reality, most people who start businesses are actually practitioners that just get tired of working for whoever they're working for. So they're a carpenter who's really good at making woodworking, but they decide they don't want to work for that guy anymore, so they start a business. And they find out that carpentry has very little to do with running the business. And so it goes through the story of how you evolve into creating a business that can operate. You can operate on it instead of in it. And so that's the number one book I recommend. There's a ton of other books that are really good, but that's number one. Cool?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Chris thought of one.
Yeah. I thought of a couple of them.
So it's important to note I've known none of these so far. All right, Chris, Kirko, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, what's up?
So my question for you is, how do you, in future, Hasseman marketing in the next 5 years, and it's going to be kind of a two-part question, is how do you think you want to make your customers view Hasseman marketing, as well as what is the industry? What do you want the industry to know you as in the next 5 years?
That's a great question. So one I've actually given some thought to. So what I would really like from customers' perspective is I want them to look at us much more from an agency perspective. We are a marketing, I want to become people's marketing department. And because I think we have we've got design, we've got video, we've got creative, we've got all that within, and of course the promotional within one roof. From my perspective, I think that my goal is to build my brand to a degree, which sounds a little bit egocentric, but the whole idea is I think that in a lot of industries, there's a person who drives the industry or drives the company. Gary Vaynerchuk's a great example. He's a person who drives the conversation on social media, and by him being out front and driving the conversation on social media, certainly VaynerMedia, his company, comes along for the ride. And so, I think that I would very much like to become that person for our industry. I'd like to become a person who helps be out in front of our industry and elevates the industry so that all of a rising water takes up all boats. And so that's sort of my goal for the next 5 years.
So my follow-up to that would be is what
I didn't realize we allowed follow-ups, but okay.
Yeah, it's like it's a very long pause.
Yeah, that's okay.
So what hiccups and what challenges do you see facing you in the near future that might deter you from hitting those goals?
No, that's great. I think at the end of the day, I actually talked to Gary briefly about this and about the concept and what he's doing, and he said, he agreed that made sense. And he said you can't be full of shit. And I think from my perspective, what that means is if I want to show people that this is that we are a viable company and I know what I'm talking about, then this has to be a successful company. Cash flow has to be the way it should be. We need to continue to grow our sales, because if I'm telling people that I know how to do it and we're not doing it, then that's the biggest hiccup I see along the way. So as an organization, I need to help us champion growth and have more people who are successful so that that mission can be completed.
Cool.
Make sense?
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. That wraps up another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I really appreciate all the gang for grilling me today. There were several of those questions I'd never heard before, so that was interesting. And we'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for watching, but wait! Can you do me a favor? Please subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done it already, the way to do it's right over here. And hey, if you want to watch the last episode, check that out over here. Again, before you leave, subscribe!